Welcome in, everybody, to This is a Shoot. Today, we're going to be talking about Eric Bischoff's thoughts on the possibility of Johnny Gargano joining AEW and adding to that already oversized roster. Also, we're going to be talking about the current state and the ratings that AEW is in as well. So, as always, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and don't be afraid to leave a comment, especially, do you agree with what Eric Bischoff has to say? Do you disagree? And the reason why? Do you feel like Johnny Gargano should go to AEW, or should he stay with NXT, or should he just flat out retire? Now, that all being said, Eric Bischoff, back on December 15th is when this quote came out on his podcast. And if you're looking for a good podcast, look up 83 Weeks, because Eric Bischoff has a very solid podcast. Whether you're a fan of Eric Bischoff or you're just looking for a new podcast to listen to, I do highly suggest that you listen to 83 Weeks. I've learned a lot from listening to Eric Bischoff. I've had some good laughs listening to him. And, the man's a lot smarter than what people want to give him credit for. Even myself is included in that. So let's dive right into it. Now, this is talking about Johnny Gargano. And I quote, "For his sake, I hope that it happens. You want people in this industry to stay employed and to prosper and to be successful at whatever levels they are able to achieve. But what are you going to do with that talent? Let's build the biggest roster in the history of wrestling. Is that the goal? Is that the end game? To be able to brag about how deep your talent roster is? If so, it is, I guess, AEW is on its way to achieving that goal. But what do you do with all that talent?" And end of quote. He brings up a couple good points there, to me. Okay? One, yes, from a wrestling standpoint, you want Johnny Gargano to be successful, especially fans of Johnny Gargano. You want him to be successful no matter where he goes. But secondly, okay, what is AEW doing with all this talent? I said in a past video, and Disco Inferno has said the same thing. Back in my last video talking about Disco Inferno, you have all this talent that a lot of people that's getting brung in are getting lost in the shuffle. And to all of Johnny Gargano's credit in the world, I feel like he would get lost in the shuffle. I feel like he'd be like Jay Lethal and get lost in the shuffle a little bit. There's so much talent, and you only have 2 shows, one only being an hour long on cable network, the other being AEW Dynamite, which is 2 hours long. And then, yes, I've said it before, I know they got Dark and they got Dark Elevation. Easy for me to say, right? I know they have all them shows. But you're wanting to put these guys out there where everybody can see them. And it's hard to keep a roster that big happy. You can pay them all the money in the world, but sooner or later, they're going to want to get the push. They're going to want to go up there and say, hey, where's my chance? So he has a very good point there. What is the goal, and what are they going to do with all this talent? And what have they already done with all this talent? Now we start getting into the ratings of things. Once again, this is what Eric Bischoff's thoughts are, and I quote, "You look at the shows, and let's be honest about it. I'm not being critical. I like AEW. And I want AEW to prosper. But let's be honest about where AEW is. They drew 872,000 viewers this past Wednesday night. Keep in mind, this is back in around December 15th. So keep that in mind. I'm not talking about the most recent episode. I'm talking about December 15th. Back to what Eric Bischoff had to say. That's what they were doing a year ago. I've done shows with AEW that have done more than they did this last Wednesday. And the talent roster is stacked with great talent, phenomenal talent. But where's the audience for it? It's not working. 872,000 viewers on an A show, on their A show. That's not exciting. The numbers are the numbers. And this is the number AEW was doing a year ago, 2 years ago. It's weird, and now you're going to stack even more talent on top of it. What are you going to do with them? So once again, he goes, end of quote. Once again, he goes back to, what are you going to do with them? Now, if anybody's going to have a say in signing talent and what are you going to do with them, in a lot of ways, AEW is following that same path that WCW followed. What I mean is they had Monday Night Nitro. And then they went to, then they opened up another show, I believe it was on Thursdays, called Thunder. And we all know what happened there if you've watched wrestling. We all know how Thunder did. And Rampage hasn't been doing great numbers either. Now, Tony Khan has came out numerous times and said on Busted Open Radio that he's happy with the numbers. And then when you look at, okay, the numbers of DVR and people going back and watching on DVR, yes, that does play a part in this, especially in today's society where you can set your DVR. Me working second shift, I set my DVR so that I can watch AEW the next day. But I guarantee you there's more people home that are just choosing not to watch AEW's product. Sure, they tune in when CM Punk debuted. Sure, they tuned in at the hopes of Daniel Bryanson. Sure, they tune in at certain events to see if someone else is going to debut. And listen, I'm happy when I see guys debut. I love the fact that Jay Lethal went to AEW because he's made very clear that he doesn't want to go to WWE. So I'm happy that Jay Lethal found a job at AEW after Ring of Honor has shut the doors, at least for now. So as a fan, yes, you are excited or should be excited for seeing talent go to this place and the possibilities. But at the end of the day, what are they going to do with this talent? That's up to the booking committee. I don't care how much money Tony Khan has. Eventually, money will run out. You're not going to be able to pay these guys what you're paying them. Eventually, it's going to happen. Don't know when, but it's going to. If the AEW does not start getting a little bit more viewership, because Eric Bischoff does have a point. Even on Raw's worst nights, they're drawing at least 1 million views. And that's Monday Night Raw. Now, I don't know what NXT draws. I'm thinking around the 500 range is what they draw, what they're drawing. I don't know what SmackDown draws. I know it's more than what, I'm thinking it's more than what Monday Night Raw gets, or right there with the number. It's over 1 million. And Rampage is getting about 500 I've seen. Now, these numbers could have changed. I'm not going to hit the exact number on the head. I don't know the statistics. But based on what Eric Bischoff is saying, to a man who knows his statistics and knows what happened to him in the Monday Night Wars, I know that him and Tony Khan's at odds right now, or it seems to be at the odds. But Eric Bischoff, from listening to his podcast, he just tells you what's on his mind and what he thinks and how he's feeling about a situation, regardless if he's friends with him or not. He's friends with Bruce Pritchard, but he'll throw Bruce Pritchard under the bus real quick. Eric Bischoff is what you see is what you get with him. I know he gets a lot of hate from fans sometimes, but he also gets a lot of love. He's got a lot of love for me. I respect the man. But my take on this is he's got some points. Do I think he's overreacting as far as the ratings go? Yeah, probably a little bit. Probably a little bit. But he's got a point. So, I'm going to end the video on that. I'm going to leave it at these quotes. I want you guys to form your own opinions. And no opinion is wrong. I just ask that you be respectful in the comment section if you do leave a comment. And let me know how you feel. And like I said, hit that like, hit that subscribe button so you never miss these videos. And I'll see you guys later.